Well, I guess it's the election that everybody been waiting for a long time. So we have clarity that Donald Trump will have another term as president. I think we have to wait a little bit how his administration will be constituted. As you know, there are different schools of thoughts in the US. You have premises that basically want to defend American hegemony around the globe. There are prioritizers that want to focus mainly on Asia as a theater, and then Trump himself has very strong isolationist instincts. So it's not entirely clear who the main positions will be. But it will certainly be a bolder, more national interest-oriented foreign policy posture that the U.S. will entertain. Trump, under the premise of America first, basically tries to do two things. Number one, he wants to free the U.S. of what he calls the burden of international entanglement. That means both what he calls forever wars, as well as the multilateral duties of the U.S. And the other thing, he wants to play hardball when it comes to the economic interests of the U.S. So he basically wants to get a better deal for the USA. I think that's the circumstances that we have to look forward to. And that, I think, will pose formidable challenges for all of us. Well, I mean, this is basically a crystal ball question, but maybe you allow me to speculate a little bit. I would assume that, given that even in a very, very polarized country like the US, there is a bipartisan consensus that the competition with China has to basically be played out in a kind of a hardball fashion. So I would assume there is going to be continuity, such as was continuity between the Biden administration and the Trump 1 administration. So I think geopolitical competition, a very strong focus on geoeconomic competition will be a continuation. And we really see that this really alters the playing field, the environment for all the countries around the world, including obviously Southeast Asia. We see that countries have to put a lot of thought into their foreign policy posture. There's pressures to choose sides. There's pressures to choose alliances or stay out of it. We see that multilateral institutions like ASEAN are put under a lot of pressure because countries are orienting into different directions. But also, of course, we see that the world and the regional economy are changing very, very fast, and that changes the opportunity structures for development. So if you just look at the classical, the most important and most successful development model that we know of, which is cheap labor, export-led catch-up industrialization, in an economy where you will increasingly see that human labor will be replaced or complemented by machines, the comparative advantage of cheap labor will lessen. Export-led growth means that you're going to have open export markets, which means you are operating within the paradigm of an open world economy, also not a given. And third, basically, catch-up industrialization means that you receive technology transfer and you integrate it in the global supply chains. And that's precisely the strategy of weaponization of technology and supply chains that is happening in the geoeconomic competition. So that means a country like Thailand will really have to maneuver a very challenging environment, both geopolitically as well as geoeconomically. Well, I mean, Thailand is still in a quite comfortable situation compared to many others. You're not in one of the really hot regions in the moment, so I think that offers opportunities and breathing space. But Thailand, of course, will have to work very hard to keep the ASEAN community together, given the centrifugal forces that are ripping it apart. I think a country like Thailand that has a very strong interest in a rule rule-based international order, and also in terms of solutions for global challenges, will be able to find a lot of willing partners, what I call partnerships in the middle, in order to tackle such questions as climate change or pandemics or open trade order, these kind of things that try to work together and actually move forward on these challenges, because a blockade is the last thing that we can need right now.